It's the end of day 4, and this match is so beautifully poised that I'm looking forward to welcoming all of you along with DK to Cricbuzz Chatter, brought to you in association with Cricbuzz 11, the fantasy gaming app from the house of Cricbuzz. I'm going to ask you about this fantasy situation that we are in very quickly. I know we'll discuss it later. Which team is ahead? As of today, India. Okay, he thinks India's ahead. But the key today was the batting performance of two completely contrasting personalities. It was a greater difference between you and me. Your personality and mine, which seems to work all right on Cricbuzz.
Please respect my dressing sense and you have to know like
No, today is the one day I think I can say, just look at that sweater, Jack.
You're looking very suave.
Yeah, suave. Three vowels in it, UANE. Okay, there's a lot of trouble happening at the moment in UANE. Okay, let's come down to the let's come down to the cricket.
Good.
Let's come down to the cricket as well. We'll start with Rishabh Pant. We'll start with fire. We'll go to ice afterwards. We'll start with fire. We always look at Rishabh Pant and think, how on earth? What's he doing? What's he going to do? It's the edge of your seat. Where's he going to hit next? He's at 100 in each innings. He's got 8 Test match 100s, and he's just on top of his game. He's batting beautifully. There is a great method to the way he plays, which is working just now.
I was speaking to Mark Wood. He was there in the com box yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said people think, oh, he just plays easy shots. Sometimes, DK, I know when I'm running up, he's going to step out. And I know it. And I bowl the ball that I want to. But still, Rishabh Pant hits me for a boundary. That tells you that he is so hard to bowl to. Even when you know what Rishabh Pant is going to do, he has the ability to put you away. And that's a good bowler with rapid speed up his sleeve, tells you the skill levels that that man possesses. If you're Karun Nair, will be watching the match like this at the start, slowly or hopefully. But the fact is that no matter how he starts, how he keeps going, the beauty of what he brings to Test cricket is what makes this man extremely interesting to watch. Thriller minute sort of innings, but laced with skill.
If you want to understand Rishabh Pant well, two things you have to do first. You have to accept it won't come off every time, but when it comes off, it'll win you games. So it's up to us as well to accept what he's going to do. But to understand Rishabh Pant best, turn on the volume on your TV sets when you're watching and try and catch as much as you can from the stump mic because he's a parallel soundtrack to his own batting. And so many times I've thought when I'm on air when he's batting, I've actually paused to say, let's listen to what he's saying. And today he was saying a lot of very interesting things to KL Rahul. He was saying, oh, जमीन पे मारने की कोशिश कर रहा था मैं इसलिए ऐसे खेला मैं बॉल देख के खेल रहा हूँ ऐसे नहीं मार रहा हूँ मैं. And you were explaining a lot on Sky as well about what he was saying. It's part of his personality, the chirpiness. It's almost as if he reminds me so much of Sehwag in that point of from that angle.
Virubai used to sing a lot while
Yes.
batting. He is a commentator in himself. You don't need too much. I think he'll take our jobs eventually because he is doing our job.
Mine more likely than yours.
Point is that Harsha, he is having fun when he's batting.
Yes, so
He
important.
has a method as well. He is at times justifying what he's doing to his partner because just like us, I think the partner is also, Arey bhai, ye kya kar rahi hai? And he is like trying to explain, saying, all is well, I know what I'm doing. But I think at the start, he took on a lot more risk than what he needed to. And he spoke to himself saying, सीधा खेलते वक्त बैट पे लग रहा है, and he is talking to himself saying all that. And after that there was a different Rishabh Pant. He spoke to himself, calmed himself down, and then up to lunch he played in a certain method, which was very nice to see. As usual, he came back, played some lovely shots. He's a highly skilled player. He is walking into the realm of Adam Gilchrist of Australia and some of the greatest wicket keepers who have already played the game. One thing, there are not many wicket keepers batting at number 5 for their country.
Correct.
All wicket keepers bat at 7. That is a very special ask. He can walk into this Indian team easily as a pure batter. No one will raise an eyelid to not have him in this team.
You mentioned he was talking to himself, and it struck me at that time that there were two partnerships going on. One was Rishabh Pant with KL Rahul, and the other was Rishabh Pant with Rishabh Pant, where he was talking himself into certain situations. He was saying, "Don't play like this, don't do that," and he's not afraid to uh, to get that coming up on the stump pike. I think at one point he said, no, Bashir, you've got too many deep fielders out and he's bowling well. That's why I'm not hitting. He's telling the wicket keeper and he's the next ball for 6. That was in the first innings. So it's all part of the persona, but forget the fact that Rishabh Pant was box office. Just look upon him as a pure middle order bat, and the numbers are still same. I mean, his last five test scores in the UK are 50, 146, 57, 134, and 118, which is incredible. No Indian wicketkeeper has ever scored 100 in each innings. He joins a very select list of people who scored 100 in each innings. It's a list that has Sunil Gavaskar, it has Rahul Dravid, it has Virat Kohli, it has Cheteshwar Pujara, I think. No, it has Ajinkya Rahane in it. So it's a list that is full of very, very special players. Vijay Hazare in it. So as a pure batter, I think we should now start looking at him beyond the box office persona. Enjoy that, but look upon him as a proper batter, as a proper match-winning batter.
I have always looked at him as a pure batter because under pressure he has his methods, but he gets the job done, and that's all
we
you
had
require.
we had one other stat that came up on our broadcast. I don't know if you guys on Sky get these good stats or no, but we on Sony we had it. We had strike rate in the 90s of all the players who scored, so a number of hundreds. His strike rate in the 90s was the highest among everybody who've been in the 90s. What did he do today? He took 26 balls between 90 and 100. A couple of times he was taking deep breaths, a couple of times going, but he wasn't throwing his wicket away. Today took 26 balls between 90 and 100.
He has a certain way he goes about his game, Harsha. Yeah. And a lot of the times it's against the grain of what you expect. So if you feel he's going to defend, a lot of times he'll play big shots. Yeah. Just when you think he wants to get off, or rather score 90 to 100 in a hurry, which is just 10 runs, he takes 26 balls. He just knocks it around for singles, kept leaving balls, and didn't do anything. So he is a man that you can't judge as a mortal from our side because he has his own methods. But so far,
says a man who had his own method sometimes at the end of a T20 game.
But he's been extremely effective. That is the,
he's a class.
The start and end of this conversation. He has his methods. It's one that is laced with risk, at least from our point of view, but one that he is very aware of what he needs to be doing.
I think we just need to look at that scorecard to figure out his contribution. There's 137, there's 118, and then there's a 30 and a 25. And that just tells you what he's doing. So you're talking about Rishabh Pant, and just like Rishabh Pant's batting, which is always exciting, so too are the contests on the Cricbuzz 11 app. So download now. You can play for just 1 rupee. What you get for a rupee? You get to play on the Cricbuzz 11 app. So who knows? Like Pant, you could stand to win very big also. So that was about Pant. And then at the other end, there was someone who was very calm, who was very peaceful. And I was looking at KL Rahul and I was thinking, this world is all right.
Not many people will be saying that in the world right now, but when KL Rahul does bat, it did give a sense of peace because there was nothing unclassical about the way he played. Just solid shots. We looked at some of his strike rates in various lengths. At good length, it was 20. 153 when it's slightly fuller, 80 and 62 in other areas. So he knows the toughest ball is good length. He had plans for it, leave a lot, just defend close to his body. But anything fuller, he was putting it away. Anything shorter, he was just doing what was required. Point is, it's not very often that you come across an inning where one is in the zone completely. I thought he was in that zone. He was leaving beautifully. There was a spell which could have easily troubled a lot of batters. He just found a way to nicely put pressure back by just being at the crease without doing counter attack, which seems to be the norm of the game these days. He was able to absorb pressure by just backing his defense and his ability to leave a ball, which was nice to see.
I thought his crucial contribution came in that first session. India made 63 runs in that first session. And because that was a phase where you just lost Shubman Gill, you lose 1 or 2 more wickets, you know that the lower order is a house of cards. It'll come down any minute. Overall, you got 200 runs by T, which was excellent. And you know what happens when they got out. It was indeed a house of cards. But I am so happy for KL Rahul. And I hope he wants to own the next 4 years. He's scoring hundreds. He's in excellent form. And I just wish him well as he goes along. Because if he's playing well, then I think I'm enjoying doing the broadcast.
Harsha, there have been a lot of openers who have gone out there and done it, and you saw the stats about what he has done. But he has done it in various positions whenever the team has demanded it. He's been very versatile, not only with the way he has batted, but also adapting to whatever the team has needed in terms of situation. If the team needs him to just be out there, he's doing it. If the team needs him to attack, he's happy to do it. He is a top quality batter. We're just doing an interview with him post the game. So I asked him, what changed? In the last 18 months, it feels like you've had your best cricket. He said, I've become a lot calmer. I'm not chasing too much about too much of numbers, and I'm very happy with who I'm practicing. Bishek Nair, when he was with this team, I practiced in such a way that he's changed the way I practice. He said that he got into that too much, not too much quantity, but lots of quality. But now he's saying he's gone back to playing a lot of quantity, which basically means he is enjoying batting. And that is very important because his methods in Test cricket is not going to be 160 balls. No, it's going to be 100 or 180 because he is understanding conditions and playing according to it.
It's a lovely line. There are two people whose mind I'd love to go into. One is Rishabh Pant, one is KL Rahul. And we saw those today because I've always felt that KL Rahul is a far better player. I've always asked people to know him. I don't know him very well. We just say hello to each other. Does KL Rahul know how good he is? Because
that was my question to him.
Was it?
Yes, so I asked him. Sometimes you look.
Learning your style, you're learning my questions.
No, I asked him today. So when you look at the test stats and see 30s in your average, does it hurt you? He said it hurts me a lot. I will change it. You know something unique that KL Rahul did today?
Something unique that he did. His leave percentage was fantastic.
Brilliant.
His cover driving always was excellent.
Nice.
I thought he played really close to his body.
Yes.
You're playing along with me, aren't you? You're leading me on. Did you?
Yeah, whatever you said is, I don't know if it's unique, but he does it always. So
Yes.
what could be unique? He spoke in 3 different languages to 3 of his bodyguards.
I thought he's testing me on my observation of the game. Listening. Yeah, that's interesting too, yeah.
He spoke Tamil to Sai. He spoke Hindi during the time with Pant. And once Karun came, he started speaking Kannada. I mean, if he had batted as Zach Crowley, English would also come out.
But
So
why did
far
he
it is
speak?
required.
Why did he speak Malayalam to Karuna?
They're from Karnataka. Both of them have grown up playing Karnataka. Just because he is Nair, then KL Rahul should speak Tulu to everybody. You're bringing a twist to this.
And then with you being a proper Naidu boy, మనం తెలుగులో మాట్లాడాలి కానీ తెలుగులో మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు అందరు అదే అనుకుంటున్నారు అయితే ఇంగ్లీష్ లోనే మాట్లాడాలి.
నా తెలుగు కంటే కేఎల్ రాహుల్ తమిళ్ కొంచెం బెటర్.
Okay. Yeah, but that's interesting. What I also liked was these conversations. You know, when Karun Nair came into bat, he spent time talking to him a little bit because he understands, he knows Karun Nair well, but he understands the stress. And I promise you, when Karun Nair walked out to bat, I was just saying, get a boundary. And you know what he did? He got a boundary with a reverse sweep. What is it with all you boys from Karnataka and Chennai and all?
He loves the reverse sweep. And actually, he has all sorts of sweep. And I'm happy he got 20. I'm sure he's thinking, no, I could have done better. Fair enough. But he just feels like he's getting into good positions. And I'm sure a good score is around the corner.
I hope so for his sake as well. Right. We're going to keep this conversation with DK going, but first of all, I'm going to put him in the hot spot. In Headingley, you talk about Ben Stokes. In Headingley, you talk about Bazball as well. India's bowling performance in the first innings, not the greatest. The tail didn't contribute very much. Is India under pressure going to the last?
No. India is definitely not under pressure, according to me. On the last day, chasing a tall total like this is never easy. It's all about picking a wicket or two, and the pressure is always on the chasing team. History might tell us in Leeds in the last few years, there have been big chases.
Yes.
But this pitch is not the usual pitch. There are cracks, it's bouncing so much, there are so many balls that just took off at length.
I saw some stats about the deviation in bounce. If you go on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is perfect bounce, 10 is very up and down, not up and down as much, but variable bounce. We started from about 3 and today was 6 point something. So to that point,
something in this pitch, it's not as simple as day one. Look, and there's pressure. You need to take into context also a couple of the batters have not got runs. A couple of the batters have been lucky. We have dropped catches. You need to back yourself to win this game. I believe if India come out and pick up a couple of early wickets, which is very much possible, having rain round the corner, and they might use a heavy roller, which would mean initially it might be good, and slowly it might get better to bowl as well. So taking everything into context, I feel India has a good chance to win this game.
Okay, two things I want to talk to you at this point. One is the difference between what the top order is providing for India and what the lower order is not providing for India, because that's in stark contrast to what England have done, because England had only 100, one close 100, whereas India had 500s. But apart from those 500s, you see, first innings 7 for 41. Today, 333 for 4, and you lost 31 runs. You lost the last 6 wickets. So that is a danger because England will bat deep. They're not as fragile, as crumbly as India. But also the England bowling. Did you notice anything in the England bowling today to suggest that India's bowlers might be able to defend this score.
There was definitely a bit of swing in the morning.
Yes.
I thought Bryden Cast bowled a really nice spell. So Ben
Yes.
Stokes got the ball to swing. These are all the positives. For us, there is Jasprit Bumrah. He is the mainstay. He is the hero of that
But that's good and bad,
picture.
isn't it? That's good and bad because if Shubman Gill is going to be looking at Bumrah all the time, but he needs 6, 7 wickets from the other end too.
It's interesting. I actually feel Bumrah will play a massive role, but the supporting cast need to really step up.
Take the wickets.
Yeah, because also a lot of it will come from Shubman Gill's body language and the support staff's general talk towards how they are going to egg each bowler on to believe that they can win a game. All these bowlers we speak about, Rishabh, Siraj, Prasid, Shardul, have all been match winners in domestic cricket at various points of time, and some in international cricket as well, Siraj and Shardul. So I believe they need to feel walking in that they can win the match and they can win the match single-handedly. If that belief is there, the way they step in to the ground would be very different to one which is looking at Bumrah and hoping he picks a wicket. Now, Shubman Gill has to make sure that every over given to a bowler, that bowler feels he is the guy who's going to pick a wicket for India.
I'm glad you said that because many years ago when Shane Warne first came to India, there was this conversation about Warne versus Tendulkar and big build up about Shane Warne. And I think he might have said to Mark Taylor once, he said, "Man, I'm the main guy. I might have to win the series." And apparently Mark Taylor said to him, "If you have to win the series, we've already lost it because one player doesn't win a series." And I hope from that point of view as well that it's not only about Bumrah. I'd like to see Prasidh Krishna come back. I was a little disappointed with the shot that he played. Jadeja's just hit a 4 and a 6. I didn't know what. I just thought if I was in the dressing room, everyone would have been very quiet when he came back. But I'd like to see his body language. Do you know Prasidh well?
Yes, he is.
His body language is. I get the feelings. I want to feed him some chilies.
I wouldn't read into it too much. He's that kind of guy.
That kind of guy. That's why I said, you know him well. I don't know him at all.
Relaxed. He's not going to come out with his chest out and say a few things even when he's not bowling. But he has a few things to say when he bowls. He's aggressive. He even did it in the first inning. So I don't look at his body language too much, but with the way he bowls, which basically needs to be slightly fuller than what he did in the first inning, and then we're talking.
Okay, but I'm glad because there's a word in the south called papo. So sometimes I look at him and I say, "Show some fire," because I've been backing him as a red ball bowler for 3 years, 4 years now, and tomorrow is potentially his day. What is tomorrow going to be? Because this man has many skills, one of which I'm going to invoke now as we go into fast forward. Weatherman DK, Weatherman DK. Have you been looking at the forecast?
Yes.
And the forecast says.
You want to know what the forecast is or what I'm going to say?
I want to know what the forecast says because a little more faith in the weather forecast. Yeah. But I think
every day I spend so many hours with you, zero faith. Okay, let me tell you what
I'll tell you what.
forecast is.
If I have to ask you how good is Prasidh Krishna, I have a lot of faith in you. If I have to ask you what did you like in Rishabh Pant, I have a lot of faith in you. But the weatherman DK, look, you had mixed results as a weatherman. Okay, let's face it.
You're not a true follower of feeling.
Tell me.
So tomorrow at the start, they're expecting a little bit of rain. We start at 11 local time.
Yes.
At around 8 o'clock is when they're saying there'll be showers, but it's only 2 millimeters at that point of time. There'll be a little bit of showers. It was up until 12, but it slowly reduced and went to 10 o'clock. So right now, when I saw last, it said around 8 to 10, there could be a shower. But there is also another shower during lunch and tea late time.
But nothing till then?
No.
So the reason I asked you all that was, and that's an integral part of fast forward, if it is going to be a stop-start day, because you remember on the last day you don't lose overs. At the moment, it's very fashionable to lose overs. Yeah, I don't like playing 90. We play 82, 83, add on half an hour. But tomorrow you have to bowl all 90 overs, which means we could be here till 8:39 in the evening. Maybe who knows at the rate at which they go. But if it's a stop-start day, that's better for the bowling side of
it. Yes and no. I say yes because obviously it's always harder to start as a batter. No, because unlike usual conditions, it's a bit cold. Again, to warm up your body and keep going back and forth is not that easy. Sometimes you lose time trying to do that. That is the only trouble when there's a lot of stop-start, which is not going to be the case. There'll be probably one or maximum of 2 stop-start in the day.
Okay, because I was watching the Met Office forecast. And it said 60%, 70%, 50%, 80%, 60%. I was watching the BBC weather forecast saying 39%, 42%, 45%. So you can see we'll have different points of view. But I agree with TK on the cold. I was down today because I have to do the Hindi pitch report with Pujara. First of all, it gives me a great high that anyone thinks I can do a pitch report. But I set it up, I pass it on to him. But the more important thing was finish it quickly. It was cold. It was cold. And he comes from a state where in the language there is no word for winter. And you were sitting in one wind tunnel.
Oh, it was a very cold day in Leeds today.
It's freezing.
Probably the coldest day of the my trip to England so far. I would put it that
Well, let's see how it is tomorrow. Maybe the sun will come out enough. Maybe the track will play a little up and down. There is one spot about 7 meters away from where the ball is hitting and taking off.
way. Correct.
It hit KL Rahul a couple of times. It's not going to be easy for the keeper. As a batter or as a bowler, can you almost focus too much on that one crack, those that little collection cracks around that 7 meters?
If it is in your eye line, it definitely troubles you. If it is slightly outside of stump, you don't think about it too much. You always feel like you go over the stump, so you'll go away from a very dangerous place while you bat. So that is slightly outside. So the England batters won't get troubled so much by that. But what I am thinking is, if there is a bit of rain, that means it could be slightly overcast. And when there's a bit of cloud around, you know how ball can swing in England. That is what India need to wish happens. Because in the morning, you and I, when we started, I'm sure it was a cold day, windy, and I thought it'll be a lot more different to what it was when we started. So we have to wait and see. There's plenty of time. But at this point of time, Harsha, I feel it'll be a day if the India's bowlers are up to task and not just dependent on that one Kohinoor diamond. We have a good chance.
Okay, I might not rate him as a weatherman, but I rate him as a cricket analyst. So we'll go with that thought. So as we head into day five, let's take a look at where the game is. It's very clear: 350 runs for England, 10 wickets for India, 90 overs in the game. All four results are possible. As one of my great colleagues would tell you, all four results are possible. England can win, India can win. It can be a draw or it can be a tie. But while all four results are possible, remember, you could win 100% of the time if you play on the Cricbuzz 11 app. So all you need to do is download it. It only costs 1 rupee and you can play and find out just how good you are. I enjoy playing fantasy as well. I'm sure you can too. So thank you very much for watching Cricbuzz Chatter. It's brought to you in association with Cricbuzz 11, the fantasy gaming app from the house of Cricbuzz. I hope you enjoy playing. I hope you're very good at playing. And as a very basic minimum, try to be better on fantasy gaming than he is with the weather. We'll check out if he's good enough on the weather tomorrow. Cheers.